Greetings, English 102 students. This is your instructor for the class, Professor Cocazella. I am teaching two sections of this class, but I'm making this video count for both of them, so it's generic. If there's ever a time that I'm explaining something for one class versus the other, I'll let you know. But otherwise, the information is pretty much the same. You all are doing the exact same assignments. Let's see, one of the classes starts a bit later, so that's the big difference. So we'll be doing our assignments, our initial assignments a little bit more quickly, I should say. Okay, so here is what's going on. What you are seeing right now is the home page for the Blackboard course site. Now, I know you're all pretty familiar with Blackboard by now from structured remote days and maybe from English 101. But I do want to review this, even though it may be information that you know already. I am one of the instructors that uses Blackboard rather extensively, so I want to make sure that we're all on the same page regarding its features and how you are to use it and what menu items pertain to which elements, that kind of jazz. So we're starting out on the home page. And this information on this homepage banner is really exactly the same thing that you received in your emailed announcement, but it's just telling you what you need to do to proceed. And clearly, if you're getting to this video, you have gotten this far, right? Because this video is being housed in the housekeeping learning module. But just let's go through all the menu items just to make sure. So the home page is just that. You won't need it after today, after our first day of class. It's just to welcome you to the class and to share with you what it is you're expected to do before we dive into the class itself. Then the next menu item is announcements. So I've got the home page up on the screen right now. Now I'm going to put up announcements. So the deal with announcements is that they are housed in here in chronological order. In other words, the most recent one will be pulled up first. And also the announcements are emailed to you. So you can get it both ways. If you miss it in your email for some reason or another, just go back into the Blackboard course site and you can click on announcements. What I do with announcements is I place one in here after almost every class, but definitely at least twice a week. And what I share with you there is just basically, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we covered in class this week. Remember to do this reading. Remember that the due date for paper number XYZ is on Friday. Remember that you need to post a journal entry. Gee, we didn't have class Monday because it snowed. You know, anything that is pertinent and current information will be provided to you within announcements. And as I said, they're also emailed to you. So you can get it one of two ways, through your email or just by going back into the Blackboard course site. The next thing I want to point out to you, and this is rather important, is what's called course mail. Now, you know from being at MyMC that there are two ways that you can do your email. You can email directly through your MyMC portal, but you can also email through the Blackboard course site. And that is my preference, ladies and gentlemen. I much prefer you to email me through this Blackboard site. And the reason for that is that if you email me through the course site, I know it's you. I know you're in this section of my English 102, and I know it's a question that has to do with this particular class. Otherwise, my MyMC email gets so cluttered with, you know, spam and announcements from the school and department-wide announcements. I am worried that your announcement, or rather your email, might get lost. So always best to email me through course mail. Then the next item here is really the biggie. This is course contents, and this is where the meat of the course is. This is where everything is housed. I'm going to move my screen a little bit so that you can really get a good idea of what these what is involved in course contents. So what I do with my classes is I divide the semester up into units. And in course contents, you'll see that what I further do in terms of how I house items and documents and stuff is I put each of the units in a learning module. Now, the first module doesn't really have to do with content. It's what I call housekeeping. And clearly you've gotten this far because this is where the video was housed. But housekeeping is just that. It tells you, it gives you all the documents that you need about the policies and the procedures of the class. And obviously you can tell from the first page of the front page of the learning module, you can tell what's inside. And then you just click on the module itself, which obviously you've done because you saw this video, and you will see what else is housed in there. And on the left-hand side of every learning module is a table of contents. So there basically going to be documents in there. There might be a link in there. There might be a video that I've produced to introduce a unit. There might be another type of video, a YouTube that I think is pertinent to what we're discussing, all that kind of jazz. And also, importantly, the instructions for all the assignments for the unit. So this is what's housed in the housekeeping unit. And if we go back out, now you can see the learning modules that actually have to do with the content of the class. And there are 5 units. So it's Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and you just scroll down, Unit 4, Unit 5, and then I do have a folder at the very bottom, and in that folder I drop certain worksheets or handouts that I think could be helpful to you. Sometimes I'll put in some PowerPoints in there. It might be a YouTube video. That's information that could help you with a skill or a task, something like that. So that's supplemental materials. It doesn't have to do necessarily with the content of the unit, but it can help you out. So, and they are all set up the same way in terms of how the learning modules look. So you'll have the key, the icon, the little notebook with the tabs on it, and that indicates that it is indeed a module. And then you will have a front page, as I said before, and in the units, they're listed by weeks. I don't do particular dates because that gets, things change. So I tried to break it out just by weeks. Then I give you an overview of what really the objective of the unit is, what we're really trying to drive home in the unit, what skills we're trying to acquire or to improve upon. Then I list the assignments that are part of that unit, and I do it in numerical fashion, Unit 1, 1.1, 1.2, etc. And that makes it better. That makes it much easier to track in terms of grading and to track in terms of you finding out what you're missing, what you need to revise, that kind of jazz. And then also on the front page, I will give you the particular textbook pages that you should be reading for that unit. So again, just like you did with housekeeping, you can just go into that unit and you can see that there's a table of contents there, and it shows you, the documents within that unit. And sometimes it'll show you an upload file, and that means that you're placing your work right there. And here is an upload. And unfortunately, Blackboard has changed its icons and uploads look much the same as a document, but you'll see that there's a gray fold over on an upload file, but it'll always be listed as an upload. And that means, hey, listen, I want you to submit your work electronically here. And you just save it as a Word document. Word is my preference. And you title it with maybe the assignment name, your last name, and you upload it to me. And this is what it looks like, right? The upload file will tell you when that particular assignment is due. It'll tell you what the point value is of it. And it'll show you to browse your files and pull up your paper and drop it there. And sometimes with uploaded files, I'll go home and print them out and give you commentary by hand, the old-fashioned way. But other times with upload files, I'll actually write commentary right directly in Blackboard, and you'll be able to see the comments that way. I also sometimes do videos like this with your assignments, and I'll give you a short video on the good, the bad, the ugly, the the wondrousness of your particular assignment. So you get feedback from me in many different ways. So that's what's contained within a learning module, and that's how the table of contents are arranged and that kind of jazz. So let's see. Why don't we go back out to the menu items, and you will see that we have covered the homepage, announcements, course mail, course contents. And the next item there you'll see is journals. And this is another way that you can give me an assignment. And typically a journal assignment is a shorter assignment. It's usually, hey, write me a paragraph about this. Give me 4 to 5 sentences on this. And you just click on the assignment itself and it'll provide you with the directions for it. Here are the journal instructions. And then you'll see where my cursor is. You just create your journal entry directly in here, ladies and gentlemen. If you need to do it in a separate document, make sure you cut and paste it so it ends up right in here. That way I can comment on it right in here. And then of course, after you're done with it, what you do is you hit submit, which is it's a button on the bottom right. So that is another way that you can give me work electronically. So you've got upload files in learning modules for larger assignments. You've got journal entries. And then the last way you can submit items in Blackboard is through a discussion board post. And a lot of times I do this when I want you all to look at each other's work, right? It might be something like this one right here, research paper topic. 3.1. I'm going to ask you to tell me what your topic is for the research paper. And then oftentimes I'll say to you, okay, and now also post a thread or comment on a fellow student's discussion board post. So there's a little bit of interchange there. So those are the ways that materials, or rather assignments, are given to me. So let's go back out and show you what I'm sure is very important to you as well. And this is the My Grades function of Blackboard. And as you can see there, the very first row lists the percentage average. Do not worry about those bottom, the second and third items, weighted total and weighted average. I don't get into that too much, but that very first row is just plain and simple the percentage you are earning in the class as of that particular date. I make it a point to grade things very quickly. I don't hold on to your material and then forget about it or what have you. So I'm always posting grades into Blackboard so that you always know where you stand. Are mistakes made? Yes, sometimes there are, especially when it comes to late work. Sometimes it's not, I might not have posted the grade or what have you. So I'm not going to say that glitches don't occur, but they occur rather rarely because I do keep up with Blackboard. And indeed, if there's ever a time when you see something on Blackboard and you come up to me and you say, hey, listen, I got a 25 on that quiz and it's listed in Blackboard as a 20. That might be just a transposing error or something like that. But, as a general rule of thumb, you can rest assured that the grade in Blackboard, your percentage grade in Blackboard, is what you've achieved. And the other benefit to having this My Grades feature is that you can also view a description of what that assignment was about in case you've forgotten. Wait a minute, was that Dimensions essay about this, that, or the other? So they're all described in here as well. So going back out to the menu items, there's just a few other things to point out to you. And this video is only allowed to be 15 minutes. So I have to make sure I get everything in on time, and I only have a minute left. So we've down to Zoom meetings, and I won't even click that on, but you will know by now, if we are going to have a Zoom class, you just come in right through Blackboard. You don't have to figure out, wait, what's the ID, what's the meeting code, any of that. So you can get into the Zoom meeting right through Blackboard. And these last items are resources, writing center tutoring, and also library research help, meaning you can get directly to the library through the Blackboard course site instead of having to do it through MyMC. The OWL Writing Center is something that's produced by Purdue University, and it's got all things English in there, tips, tricks, worksheets, handouts, descriptions of various items, grammar conventions, how to cite things, etc. And I just like to keep it in there. I'm down to the count. I'll